If you're an accomplished woman who looks successful on the outside, but feels tired, restless, or quietly disconnected on the inside, you're in the right place. This channel is for women who've done everything they were taught to do, built their lives, built their careers, carried responsibilities, served faithfully, and are now asking deeper questions. How do I lead, live, and succeed without burning myself down in the process? Hi, I'm Tony, founder of Macaron High Women's Wellness and Retreats, and welcome to Overflow Living Wellness by Design. Here, we talk about sustainable success, embodied, autonomic informed leadership, and designing a life that actually supports the woman you're becoming. It's leadership rooted in physiological regulation, emotional steadiness, and deep self trust so your success no longer costs you your well being. In this video, we're going to talk about that moment in our lives when the strategies that once worked started to feel heavy. Nothing has collapsed, nothing is wrong. From the outside, things look stable, even successfully. Yet internally, the effort required to maintain that success we've built keeps rising. We're still capable, still competent, still know how to lead, execute, and deliver. The difference now is the internal cost. What once felt energizing now feels effortful. What once flowed now requires more force. You may notice that tasks take more out of you than they used to, even when the workload hasn't changed. This is often the first signal that a leadership reset is approaching. A leadership reset doesn't mean something has gone wrong. It reflects recalibration. It reflects growth. It reflects the reality that as you evolve, the systems supporting your leadership need to evolve as well. Success begins to feel maintenance heavy when you're spending more energy sustaining what you've built rather than feeling nourished by it. You're managing complexity, expectations, and responsibility with skill, but the margin that once made it feel sustainable has narrowed. At the same time, your intuition keeps nudging. It may show up as a quiet thought that returns again and again, a sense that something wants to shift, a curiosity about different rhythms, different priorities, or a different way of carrying responsibilities. You notice it and then override it because there's always something more immediate to handle, a commitment to honor, a role that depends on you, and you tell yourself you'll listen later, but later keeps getting postponed. Another signal often appears alongside that inner nudge. Rest stops restoring. You take time off, but the relief is only temporary. You step away, yet the fatigue returns quickly once you're back in motion. Even when you slow down, your system doesn't fully settle. That experience can be confusing. We assume it means we need more discipline around rest or better self care routines. In reality, it means the structure of leadership itself is asking for your attention. These signals don't point to weakness. They point to transition, and they suggest that the strategies that brought you here may not be designed to keep you here or carry you forward in the same way. Leadership at one stage of life requires different internal and external supports at another point in life. Ignoring those signals doesn't make them disappear, it intensifies them. When early signals are overlooked, the body and the mind compensate. We push through, we push harder, we normalize fatigue. We tell ourselves this is just what leadership requires. That compensation works for a while, but eventually the cost becomes more visible. Listening early changes that trajectory. Early listening doesn't require dramatic action. It doesn't require quitting, burning things down, or starting over. It begins with acknowledging what you're experiencing without guilt and without judgment. It sounds like noticing that your energy has shifted. It sounds like admitting that what once felt manageable now feels tight. It sounds like honoring the fact that your leadership has matured and needs different conditions. The reset can be subtle. It might involve refining focus rather than expanding it. It might involve renegotiating boundaries, commitments, rather than adding more structure. It might involve allowing space for reflection instead of constant execution. When recalibration happens early, leadership becomes steadier rather than strained. We regain access to discernment. Decision making feels less reactive. We begin leading from a place of alignment rather than endurance. We hesitate to acknowledge our need for rest because we equate that consistency with strength. We worry that changing pace could signal instability or indecision. In reality, adaptive leadership requires responsiveness to context, responsiveness to capacity, responsiveness to the season we're in. If this conversation resonates with you and you want to begin building from overflow, know that awareness is already movement in a beautiful direction. When you're ready and want support designing what this season of your life and leadership is asking of you, begin with the Overflow Clarity Guide linked below. We created this foundational resource, which is one of our signature offerings, specifically for you. If you'd like to continue with me, you can subscribe here on YouTube. And liking the video is a simple way to help this message reach the women who need it most. Thank you for being here and for honoring your capacity. I'll see you in the next conversation.